What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 19th day of May, and here we are sitting at about $76.9 thousand. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. We have about 11 hours left in this day. We have moved down every day. Every day's been red for the last 4 days, including today. If we close red, that'll be 5 days. Let me just see here. We haven't seen this many red daily closes in a row in quite a long time, actually. I mean, the last time that we saw it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, we didn't get an exuberant bounce, but we did move sideways for about a week before dropping off a cliff here. It's interesting, too, because here we dropped for 5 days, right? 5 red days. It wasn't the biggest drop, but it wasn't modest. It was a little bit bigger than what we're experiencing now. And that was from the highs of this range here. And now we're getting 5 red days, which we haven't seen 5 red days in a row since that time where we were at the highs of the range. Kind of an interesting thing there. We've seen longer streaks than 5 days before, but typically after 5 days it doesn't really persist too much longer. 6, 7 days. I mean, I've seen longer streaks than that even. Let's just see if we can go back in time and find maybe from the last bear market. But I mean, I'm looking here. I don't really see anything more than 5 or 6 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 days there. Still went lower, right? You had 5 red days in a row there. Then you had a green day. Then you had 2 more red days. So it still went lower, but just in the essence of red days in a row, I'm not really seeing too many. I don't know how quickly you guys can skim. I'm pretty good at skimming. I can skim pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red days in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4 red days in a row. 5 red days in a row, sorry. Good at skimming, not good at counting. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, not too many times that we see more than 5 red days in a row, though. I mean, even dating back to the last bear market. So we might be due for a bounce at some point, but we could go lower. Again, we have 11 hours left in this day. We could go lower. Tomorrow might be a green day, and then we still go lower after that, right? It doesn't, just because we've seen so many red days in a row doesn't mean we're overdue for some type of bounce, but it is just interesting to note the amount of downward pressure we've been experiencing. Volume has picked up as we move down and all that. We actually did have a good bit of volume come in yesterday relative to the past month or so, and that did provide a solid wick as well. Let's look at the short-term stuff. Let's do some TA, and then we'll move on, okay? 1 hour time frame, man. I'm sick. That's why I didn't make videos yesterday. Not because I'm sick, but because my daughters are sick, and I had to take care of them. Yeah, I didn't have time, man. Looking at this here, it does seem as though we have a diamond bottom pattern. This does look like, to me, a diamond bottom. Diamond bottoms are just like diamond tops. They're notorious for high velocity breakout moves that throw back in the opposite direction that they broke out from. We could break out this way and then throw back that way. I do feel like without the diamond top or diamond bottom look here, it's also very similar to what we saw here, what we saw here. What we're seeing now is just kind of boring price action. We're a little bit more volatile within this range than we were the last couple of times. A little bit more volume too. Here, there wasn't a lot of volume. Here, there wasn't a lot of volume. Here, there is. So my thoughts are, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, similar structure. We're programmed in our minds to probably think that we're going to go down. Similar structure, but it's definitely behaving differently. I bet we get a different reaction. I do expect that we'll move up. I made a post on X, I want to say it was probably somewhere around here, saying that, yeah, I think it was around here. I was saying that we're probably going to see a move up toward about 79K, maybe just below, maybe just above. We could go higher. But we're probably going to see a move up to 79K, but we might go a little bit lower first. We went a little bit lower, and now we're here. I do think that we might see some upside, and then going as high as 79K or somewhere in that area. It might not be 79K exactly. Maybe it's at 78.7K, but damn it, from 76.9K to 78.7K, that's close enough. If this is a diamond bottom, the measure move more or less would be something like this. I'm drawing it here. It's kind of floating because, I mean, I could put it closer to the price action. Why not? Let's be more conservative. That's 78.7K right there. I didn't know that. I didn't plan that. That's just right there where it is. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, imagine we find resistance right here. That's just above these highs. People get excited. They really start to FOMO in because we're above these highs if they're looking at the short-term stuff. But really, we're finding resistance at prior support. It's classic. It's sounds appropriate to me. We could go higher. We still could go higher. I want to leave that up real quick. Should I take this high? I think I should take the overall high. And look at that, right above the 382. It's perfect. So from here, I was thinking 79K area because that's where the 382 was. But we went a little bit lower. So this I think is actually a more appropriate target. I think we have it figured out, guys. Diamond bottom. Diamond bottom pattern. Diamond bottoms are notorious for high velocity breakouts that throw back past the breakout. So I wouldn't be surprised if we both went higher from here, but then inevitably going lower as well. And this might be, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, a good time to offload some BTC, a good time to not FOMO, or a good time to go short if you're a leverage degenerate. That's just my thoughts. Hold on real quick, you guys. Hopefully that didn't mess with the video. Hopefully that didn't mess with the audio there. I don't think it did, but this microphone, it's not the mic. I think it's the computer. I think it's the ports, man. It's been touchy. Hopefully I don't have the robotic voice. That's all I'm saying. 1 hour time frame, RSI. It's bearish. I mean, it's bearish overall. The only thing is here, right? When you were up here, you got oversold, and now you're getting less and less oversold. You're kind of encroaching on this area. Might you break through? I think you could. There's some hope there. But again, just as these diamond bottoms are known for breaking out one direction and throwing back the other direction, it could mean that we break out to the downside and then move up. Might we see a low that's a double bottom or a slightly lower low, something like that, in accordance to this diamond bottom pattern, and then move up? We could see that as well. I'm not expecting anything too fantastic. It is Tuesday. We've got a lot of time left in this week. And then also beyond all that, BTC futures here. We look at this. We still do have a gap here to fill right here. Now, not all gaps fill. This is a perfect example of that, right? There's still some gap here to fill. We didn't quite get that high. We partially filled this gap. It didn't fill it all the way. There's even a gap all the way up here that didn't fill. There's a gap here that didn't fill for a couple weeks, but then we filled it partially. We didn't even fill that one all the way. There's even a gap, technically a really small gap up here at the all-time high. So not all gaps fill, especially at these high points of the range. And we are at the high point of the range, but not the highest point of the range. So just something to keep in mind. This gap area would fill at about 79.2K. So that 79K area, we could get a partial fill. It could fill entirely, but I would imagine we get something like that, and then we move down. That's my expectation, because typically on a weekend dump, we do see some movement upwards. I've noticed, though, take notice of this, you guys. When we get the weekend dumps, whenever we get the weekend dumps and then we leave a gap behind, we typically fill those more in uptrends. And the ones that we leave behind to not fill or we partially fill, those are typically more common in downtrends. And are we starting a downtrend here? I don't know. Anyways, BTC USD, looking at the indicators, stochastics look weird. The price action is weird. The MACD has been green for a second. This does make me worry a little bit that we could see some lower price action before moving up. I'm not going long here. It's the same kind of thought that I had back in this zone, right? I would stay away from longs. We're looking for a short entry, and this is definitely not a short entry, though. If you went short there, good, you made some money. This is definitely not the time to go, I think, short or long. This is the time to wait, be patient, and let things kind of clear up a little bit more. Anybody leverage trading right now, best of luck. Best of luck, but at the same time, I don't think this is the appropriate moment to do so. Things are a bit screwy. Looking at the MACD does make me think that we have some downside to go, probably today. And with that, I mean, if we're breaking out of this diamond to the downside, we really could see lower lows. We might get a false break and then return back up, but inevitably, regardless of what happens, whether we go down from here, we go up from here, and then down, and whatever, I do expect that we're going to see something around the 79K area before moving too much lower. But with that being said, perhaps we go below 76K first. 4-hour time frame here. The RSI is tapering off. I feel like you can see it, but it's still in a downtrend. Lower lows, lower highs, right? You can see it. These lows are kind of rounding out. They're a little bit rounding out there, right? Whenever the highs, so imagine the lows are rounding out, and we're in a downtrend here relatively to the 4-hour, right? Relative to the 4-hour, we're in a downtrend. Technically, overall, you're still in an uptrend technically, because you still have higher highs and higher lows technically, okay? We're in this uptrend. We're still in a downtrend relative to the bear market because we still have lower highs and lower lows, but relative to all this, on the 4-hour, we're in a momentary downtrend here. Notice how the RSI is curving down here as we're in a downtrend. And then notice here, as it's curving up here as we're in the uptrend, right? We're curving, and what happened? We moved down. We didn't move down too much. We still moved up afterwards. We broke out of that kind of curvature and moved down, or moved up. But then same thing here. We kind of curved, and then we started to shift down. We're curving up. We might shift up a little bit, see a retracement from this point to this point, and then move down. That's all I'm saying. And we don't have to stop at 79K. 79K is the place that I'm placing my bet on. Somewhere around that area, give or take like $300 or $500, something like that. But we could go to the golden ratio at 80,200, 80,700. I mean, imagine we move up to the golden ratio. That would just be another lower high, right, in this range. People would get excited. We're back above 80K. And then we dump. Bear trap activated. Yeah, it's not a bear trap. But we might be in the works of forming a bull trap. I think we are. Right? This was a bull trap. This was a double top. We've had a couple more bull traps than bear traps at the moment. Stochastics do look somewhat like they want to be bullish here, but you're too weird, man. It's too weird. Too weird to say. Choppy and sideways. I don't like it. 4-hour MACD. You are crossing green, which is nice, but the 1 hour doesn't really make me too optimistic. I don't know. I mean, we could be moving up here. If we move up, great. I'm looking to go short around 79 to 80K. That's where I'm looking to go, and maybe even just below 79K, above these high points. Daily time frame here. The daily RSI has broken out of its trend, right? We've broken out of this upward trend, clearly. We're at the low point. It's time to come up, find a lower high, while we're in this downward sloping trend, working our way down to the oversold zone. Maybe that's here, maybe that's at a lower point, but still somewhere around here. What better place than the 40 level on the RSI? We're literally right there at the 40 level on the RSI, so that's perfect. Stochastics are oversold as well. We're oversold here. The last time that we were oversold was here. We didn't move up immediately, but it was at a low point. The time before that we were oversold, however, don't get too excited, kids. Whenever we got oversold here for the first bit, we moved sideways for a little bit, and then we moved down. So here we got oversold, and the stochastics moved sideways for a little bit, moved up. Here we moved sideways for a little bit, moved down. Difference being bottom of a range versus here we were at the top of the range. And we have more in common here with this than we do with this, if that makes sense. MACD's building bearish momentum. I mean, things don't look friendly, guys. I don't expect that we're just going to dump through the floor like this right now, but I do think a drop is coming overall. I think we're in the beginnings of that drop. We should see some volatility to the upside here, probably finding resistance at prior support, prior resistance, a lower high, and then we move down. And this lower move should, if I'm correct, take us around, if not below, $70,000. And then we figure it out from there as well, and likely will go lower overall. I do believe, and I said this last time I talked about Bitcoin, I do believe that this point is the highest point of the year. I mean, I guess this was technically the highest point of the year. The highest point from this point on. From this point on, yeah, we won't get back above this point for the rest of 2026. At least not before getting below 60K. But I don't see us working our way down here and then coming back up real quick above 80K. Maybe we do. That's great if we do. Um, but enough guessing. I don't really have anything else to say. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye.